Welcome to r/relationships, where OP is abandoned on her wedding night. Our next Reddit post is from Mamma Mia. My husband left me on our wedding night. I'm 28, he's 29. We've been married for 3 months now, yet I'm still trying to process something that happened on our wedding night. After the celebration, we had planned to spend our first night together in a room that we'd booked. Instead, my husband chose to leave and spend the evening with his friends. I went to the hotel alone. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, but that night felt like one of the loneliest moments I've ever experienced. I was deeply hurt and devastated. We talked about it afterwards. I love him very much, and because of that love, I chose to give him another chance. I want our marriage to work. I want to move forward. But when I think back to that night, there's still a quiet ache in my heart. I find myself reliving it, and each time I feel a small but sharp pain. I'm trying to forgive him, truly. Yet sometimes I feel emotionally numb and unsure whether I'm still hurting, whether I've suppressed it, or whether I simply haven't allowed myself to grieve properly. What makes it harder is that his family and friends didn't see anything wrong with what happened. To them, it wasn't a big deal, but to me, it was deeply personal. I love my husband. I don't want resentment to grow in my heart, but I'm afraid I don't know how to fully move past this. How do you heal from something like this? I'm a 36-year-old guy, and my 34-year-old wife fell deep into conspiracy theories and online hate groups. Is there any saving our marriage? I've been married to my wife for 6 years. We have a 4-year-old daughter, and I really don't want to divorce, but I'm starting to feel like I've run out of options. When we first met, my wife was kind, brilliant, and an outgoing person. Over the past few years, she's changed in ways that really scare me. She became very involved in online conspiracy spaces and online hate groups, and now spends hours every day scrolling and arguing online. It's like she's living in a different reality. She hasn't held a stable job in about 3 years. She'll take on part-time work, but ends up quitting or getting fired after a few months. Meanwhile, I've become the sole provider and have also taken on most of our parenting. Our daughter loves her mom, but my wife often seems distracted or disengaged, and it breaks my heart to see that. Another issue is that she's become more racist over time. It started as an obsessive dislike of a certain celebrity, but it's turned into outright racist comments, particularly towards women of color. She's lost several friendships because of it, and even her family has started to distance themselves. They'll check in on me and our daughter, but they've made it clear that they don't know how to reach her anymore. I've begged her to try therapy. She actually did for a few months once, and for a while I saw glimpses of the person she used to be. But she quit and everything went back to the way it was. I'm emotionally exhausted and worried about the environment our daughter is growing up in. I don't want her picking up these beliefs or thinking this level of disconnection is normal. That said, I'm also terrified of what divorce might do to her. I always believed in trying everything before walking away, and I don't want to feel like I gave up too soon. That's why I'm thinking about asking my wife to go to couples therapy. Maybe she'd be more open to it since it won't just be her. My question is, how do I even bring this up? Would it be wrong to tell her that I'm considering divorce if she refuses? I don't want it to sound like a threat. I just want her to understand how serious things have gotten. I love her, and I want to believe there's still a way forward, but I can't keep doing this by myself. Then, 3 months later, OP posted an update. Some of you helped me accept a reality that I'd been avoiding for a long time. My soon-to-be ex-wife was not going to get better, and I had to act to protect my daughter. I also want to specifically thank those who pointed me to the QAnon casualty sub. Reading other family stories and seeing how similar the patterns were was incredibly validating. It helped me understand that this wasn't something I could love or wait my way out of. I took the advice of some commenters and started documenting my ex's neglect of our daughter, her racism, and extreme beliefs, and I reached out to a divorce lawyer. I checked on our joint bank accounts as advised and discovered that she had been withdrawing large sums of money from a joint account that we opened early in our marriage for family vacations, and that we had discussed using to eventually set up a college fund for our daughter when she was born. When I confronted her, she initially denied taking the money. When I demanded she show me where the money went, she went on a long rant about creating a better world. She admitted she had donated money to organizations like TPUSA. I've never heard of this acronym before, but it's funny to me that this this comes out to Toilet Paper USA. What is this? Oh, Turning Point USA. Okay. All right, pretty much the same thing, I guess. Claiming they would create better schools and keep kids safe. She had also spent a significant amount on designer handbags, shoes, and clothing that she kept hidden from me. The craziest thing is she was also being scammed by someone she met through some royal gossip subreddit, who claimed to have hired a private investigator to expose Meghan Markle. Apparently, this person would send her negative articles about Meghan Markle and claim that the private investigator had discovered this information and sent it to the press, and my wife would send more money. She told me all of this as if it were completely reasonable and saw nothing wrong with it. I told her I was filing for divorce, and at first she thought that I was joking, but then exploded at me and began throwing things while ranting about me breaking up the family. A glass cup she threw hit me in the head. I left the house bleeding and went to my neighbors, who called the police. She had trashed the kitchen by the time the police showed up, and they arrested her after I explained what happened. I applied for and was granted a domestic violence restraining order, along with temporary custody of my daughter. My wife currently has supervised visitation only. She's facing a misdemeanor criminal charge related to the domestic battery incident, which is being handled in criminal court alongside the ongoing divorce proceedings. She's currently living with a former coworker, and her family has reached out to express support for me and my daughter. I'm in the middle of divorce proceedings, and my lawyer believes I have a strong case for sole custody. This isn't how I ever imagined things ending, but I'm grateful I listened to the advice here when I did. My priority now is my daughter's safety, stability, and emotional well-being. Thank you to everyone who helped push me to act. This post makes me think something interesting. If you're a scammer, if that's how you make your money, what subreddits do you find targets from? Apparently, one good source of gullible idiots is Royal Gossip subreddit. And or racist subreddits. Interesting. Our next Reddit post is from Throwaway Effing Pixels. I'm a 25-year-old guy and my girlfriend is 27. My girlfriend destroyed my laptop because she thinks fiction is degenerate. How can we get past this? I'm a 24-year-old trans man and my girlfriend is 27. We've been together since I was 13 and she was 16. We've been together for about a decade with some breaks in between due to various issues. But up until now, we've stood the test of time. We live together in my apartment and I pay most of the bills. She works part-time. I just bought a new laptop a couple of weeks ago. I saved for months for it because my old one was dying and just wasn't capable of what I wanted to do. I also got a 2 terabyte external hard drive because I had years of stuff I wanted to be backed up. Like my writing, transition timeline pics, voice recordings from when I first started testosterone, old photos of my mom who passed away, everything. I love fiction. I always have. I read constantly as a kid, to the point that I had a college-level reading skill while still in elementary school, and it stuck. I like most genres. I'll try almost anything, but fantasy is the one that I always come back to. A Song of Ice and Fire was my first big obsession, though. Like middle school, when I was way too young for it and staying up way too late reading under the covers kind of obsession. It's still my favorite series above everything else, and it's comfort for me. I play The Sims 4 to unwind, and recently I started an A Song of Ice and Fire themed save. Downloaded custom content mode, built families from the different houses, spent hours setting it up with an empty save file and renaming it so I could do rotational gameplay. It sounds nerdy and time-consuming because it is, but it makes me happy. It's how I decompress after work. My girlfriend has recently gotten very intense about being anti-fiction. She says that fiction is degenerate, especially fantasy. She thinks media with violence, incest themes, even if it's fictional, is morally corrupt and that engaging with it at all is contributing to societal decay. She says adults who immerse themselves in made-up worlds are stunted. She told me she didn't want me doing this Game of Thrones thing, so I said it's fictional and it's not hurting anyone. She said that doesn't matter because fiction normalizes immoral behavior. I told her I wasn't going to stop reading or playing what I enjoy because of how her views have changed, and my hobbies don't have an effect on her. Yesterday I came home, and my laptop was on the floor with the screen shattered and the external hard drive had a dent in it. She admitted she did it. She said that she refuses to live in a house that platforms degeneracy, and that sometimes you have to take action for the people you love. She said that I would thank her when I wasn't addicted to fantasy garbage. I told her to pack her things and leave. I didn't scream, I just said I'm not living with someone who destroys my property. She yelled and said that I was choosing made-up people over our decade-long relationship. She brought up how she supported me through my transition and implied I owe her patience because she stayed when other people didn't. She also likes to remind me that she knew me before I was a man when we argue, which is admittedly strange. She went to stay somewhere and has been texting me that couples work through disagreements together and that I'm proving her point about being too attached to fiction. I feel messed up because she's basically been my whole life. I don't really remember most of my teen years and adulthood without her. But I also look at my now broken laptop and feel so upset. Okay, this makes the second post that I've read on Reddit where some person gets irrationally furious at fiction and a relationship is destroyed over it. And it's kind of weird to me that this has happened twice. The first time it happened, I was like, okay, this guy's just a nut job. But 2 is indicative of a pattern. Is this like a new talking point in 2026 that fiction is bad? Huh? I typed in, is fiction bad on Google, and I got a Reddit post. Anybody feel that heavy consumption of fiction is bad for us, or am I the only one? With a whopping 41 upvotes. So I guess there are a couple of oddballs that have an issue with pretend? I guess? What's the big deal? Still, OP's story is less about fiction being good or bad, and more about the girlfriend just completely disrespecting OP and her hobbies and interests and her property and just being a bad person overall. So, dump her, OP. Our next Reddit post is from Plus Awareness. My 28-year-old boyfriend faked a proposal to me, a 28-year-old woman, and shut down completely after I asked him what was funny about it. We were playing cards last night, and while he was putting away the cards into the box, he asked me to close my eyes for a surprise. I did. He snuck my favorite ring into the box and gave it to me. I opened it, saw it, rolled my eyes, and he thought it was very funny. He also faked other proposals in the past when bending down to tie shoelaces or whatever. I'd say about 4 or 5 times in total. Important context is that neither of us wants to get married, so it's very obviously a joke. He got really ruffled when I asked him to explain what was funny about it. My goal with this was either to be in on the joke so I could laugh with him, or to ask him to stop because it feels slightly humiliating. I pressed him further when he didn't really answer my questions, and he said he didn't like to put much thought into it. My feelings towards it are weird. I feel like I'm the butt of a joke, and not like when we're joking around together. I don't feel like I'm in on the joke or understanding it in any way. My worst fear is that he'll fake a proposal around other people and I'd end up in a really awkward situation. I tried to explain this, but my partner has a habit of shutting down when I bring problems to him. He also got really offended when I told him about being afraid of being proposed to in public, saying, "How could you think I would do that?" I feel kinda gaslit. Okay, the prank is like dumb. It's a really stupid, annoying habit that's not even all that funny, but the real issue is that this guy's 28 and you can't have a normal adult conversation that's not even that big of a deal. You know, you're not like fighting over, I don't know, losing a kid or driving off the road and wrecking the car or, you know, some sort of domestic violence situation. This is pretty tame. It's like, hey, your joke's kind of lame. What's going on? And he's like, I just can't talk about it. No wonder you don't want to marry this guy. Our next Reddit post is from Few Expert. My 25-year-old girlfriend used my phone to buy an 820 euro bag without asking. I, a 27-year-old guy, am considering if I should just end our 8-month relationship. I've been dating this girl for 8 months. Last Tuesday, I checked my Ubit balance and 820 euros are just gone. I pulled up the transaction history. It's a charge from some boutique in Chiato. I don't shop there, so I know something was up. I asked my girlfriend if she knew anything about it. She got defensive immediately, then admitted she used my phone to pay for a Prada bag while I was showering. She didn't ask, didn't mention it, just took my phone and paid. She knows my passcode because I trusted her. Clearly a mistake. When I said that's theft, she flipped out, told me I'm being dramatic and it's just crypto and I have so much just sitting there. That bag is my rent for the month. Now she's acting like I'm the bad guy for being upset. Her argument is that we talk about the future together, so what's mine is hers. I said, that's not how it works without permission. Maybe if we get married someday, we combine finances. But that happens because both people sit down and agree to it. But where it gets absolutely hilarious is when a friend of hers said, real men buy their girlfriends bags. Like, what the hell? Of course I'm not against buying her stuff, but she literally stole from me. Stealing is stealing. I don't know, but this is a massive red flag. OP, I'm honestly shocked that you posted this to the internet. This is not really much of a, well, what do I do here, guys? You just dump her. She stole from you. She was hoping you'd never notice. And then when you called her out on it, she tried to guilt trip you? Dude, just move on. 8 months gone. Oh well. That was r/relationships, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.